Hi everybody, it's RPG Grandma broadcasting from a cold pickup truck because it's raining outside. So, I've been working on Star Frontiers. More Star Frontiers is coming. But I also have been, in my non-existent free time, poking at this bad boy. So, the Oracle Forest Oracle into. I'm not going to make well, I probably will talk about it more, but if you want to go see reviews of this, just Google it on YouTube. Just search it on YouTube, guys. In fact, you could even watch, some folks even did a live play or a playthrough of it as it's written. It has many problems. I don't think, not even just one video covers all the problems in it. So, I didn't believe it was as bad as they said, so I ordered a reprint. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about. And Forest Oracle here is a good example. So, the first thing is on the reprints, if you buy a reprint. You've got a map here. See down there? These reprints cut the maps up. I just wanted to show you guys that. So it's a little annoying. I don't know. Could try to undo it. I'm not going to do that. It's not worth it. There's other ways to get the missing part of the map if I really wanted it. You can buy this used. Yes. I explained to people yesterday on the Saturday that at the top end they're running for $90. The low end you can maybe find one for under 20. The thing is, most of them were like 60, something like that. We need to get all the parts, and unless you are dead set on collecting all the original stuff and you want the originals, even though this is not a very good adventure the way it's written, it has a lot of problems, ridiculous problems even. Unless you're dead set on that, don't do it. Just get the reprint. Just get the reprint. Better yet, get somebody to give you one. It has a lot of problems. So, I don't know. Carl Smith was an editor, I understand, at TSR. But the thing is, when you write your own stuff, it's important to have somebody else edit it. And I just don't know if that happened, because it feels like that. Well, supposedly Anne Gray edited it. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened here. I really don't know what happened here. All right. So you get an adventure module. Something. A product. And there's a lot out in the market for all editions and for all kinds of different games. And you get it, and you think you're getting this cool thing. You open it up, and you're like, it's a disaster on some level. What do? Well, you fix it. That's what you do. So that's what I started to do. So what are the steps of fixing something? Well, it's the same step as realizing you've got a problem, which is you got to read through it. Get paper, get pencil, and start reading through. Or pen. Taking notes. Figuring out where your problem areas are. And try to take a step back. Read enough that you have an idea what's going on. You have an idea what some of the, like, my head hurts sections. Then you take a step back, a deep breath, and you say, if I had all these different ideas that are in this adventure, and I was to make something, me, not Carl, and in no way am I want to pick on Carl here, but you kind of have to do this for anything you buy anyway. What would I do with it? how would I present this? Because as this one's written, if you go watch all the little YouTube reviews, which they're worth watching, it's a railroad. But when you take a step back, the way it's written also indicates that even though it's written in a railroad way, on the other hand, there's sections of it that you're like, well, why are we getting the rumor after we did all this stuff? It makes no sense. So it feels like there was a conflict of design going on in this adventure. Somebody wanted to kind of run like a dungeon. You go here, you go here, you go here, you go here, right? A very linear, very railroady. And it also feels like somebody was like, oh yeah, there should be rumors, there should be this, because what if they go in this part of the forest and go in that part of the forest? Which would be your more sandboxy, more uncontrolled way of doing it. So, the first thing I decided to do and have my little notes scribbled down for is not the town, not the forest, but that opening introduction section. So if I read the introduction to you guys right now cold, just the way it is, we got the preface. Seen from the rim of the hill, the vale looks as if a mighty pen has drawn a slash across it. The gentle hillside leading to the valley floor is golden and healthy. The great old wood beyond the vale rises in autumn splendor, but the land between. As you move from the golden grass of the hillside to the blighted valley, you hesitate, wary of setting foot on the brown, wispy grass. Nothing moves within the spoiled land ahead, nothing but rotten fruit dropping from the trees. The soil is gray, cracked, and if it had not rained for many days, but the rain has often made travel difficult in the past weeks. This is no drought. This cannot be the Downs. Long ago, the land prospered under the care of the Druids that lived here. Fruit trees, branches hung low, heavy with ripened apples and pears. Sheep, goats, and cows wandered the grassy slopes surrounding the valley. But when civilization came, the Druids moved into the heart of the great old wood, possibly across the wild river. If the Druids were here, they could prevent the crops and animals from dying. They could prevent the wildlife from disappearing. Help for this land lies somewhere within the dark ancient forest, with the forest oracle of the Druids. Can you reach them in time to save the Downs? So that's the preface. In the back of the book, it gives us, the land lies under a curse. Fruit drops to the ground. Its pulp black and rotten. The leaves curl and wither on the branches. Animals flee the parched vale or starve. Long ago, the Downs prospered under the care of the Druids, but the priests of nature have retreated deep into the woods and rarely show themselves. One old man claims that the Druids have the power to save the valley. If only someone could find their oracle and seek help. Will you reach the forest oracle of the Druids in time? And if you do, can you really lift the curse? Or does the answer lie elsewhere? Only the most daring and cunning adventurers will save the Downs. And it says it's for characters levels 2 through 4. And it's a novice. That's why it's called N2. It's supposed to help the game master. All right. And the players learn the game, which is it's supposed to be advanced D&D. I do believe. I think it is. No, it might be basic. At any rate, whatever it's supposed to be. No, it's supposed to be advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Says so. Okay. So you do get some information there. It's not put together well. So here's the thing. What's a Downs? You need to understand that. I learned this a long time ago with these TSR adventures. They use words that you're like, well, that's a swamp. But it's a special kind of swamp because they use a word that tells you what kind of swamp it is. And if you go look what the swamp is, you learn out what kind of plants grow in it, what kind of trees, what kind of animals live in it, what makes that kind of swamp different from this other kind of swamp. Downs, rolling hills, chalk soil. So certain things are going to grow really well in the soil, other things not so much so. Gives you some information, which you can or feel you can use or not. Gave me information. All right, I'm like, downs, that's rolling hills, and then there's a little valley where they got the thing in there, and they got the town, which they're calling Downs. So I decided to give it a more, I don't know, English kind of name. So it's the Downs in the Vale. That's the name of the village. I didn't want to name it Greater Slaughter, but slaughter means there's a swamp. There is no swamp, okay? So the slaughter does not mean a killing field. That's not what it means. So I'll have to save that for a swampy adventure. So we have these chalk hills. Well, then that tells me what the road's going to look like. And I even went and Googled what a road cut into chalk, the Downs in England, would look like. And it is. It's they're when it's cut through the turf, it's a very white road. I then start thinking about everything I've learned over the years about the chalk hills and stuff of England. And I remembered those, the big figures cut in the side of the hills. Well, there's going to be a big figure in my version of this. What that figure is, haven't figured out yet. Doesn't matter right this second. What matters is I'm creating a process in which I'm adding things that the players can investigate right away. I'm not going to read them. What are you going to do? You're going to go to the Downs, any of that stuff. I'll read the, write up something that tells them, yep, just like in here, autumn splendor. You can see the forest in the distance, So the way I'm thinking, right out the gate, this whole thing needs to be turned into a more, they can go anywhere they want on the map. And in any order they want. So you have to create interest, besides the fact that, oh, wow, everything's dying in the valley. And they're on this road. And there's a forest. And they can see a little village in the distance. Because that's what they're up on. So they can see a little village in the distance, which is what I'm going to tell them. That slash across it, they're referring to the road. That's actually what they're referring to in this write-up. I'm going to tell them to the left, so they come up on their hill. They can see on the left side of the hill coming down that there's a chalk figure cut on the side of the hill. And so if they want, they could get off the road, go down there, investigate, and I'm going to tell them it looks like maybe there's some things down underneath in the valley underneath this figure. So I'm going to put some druid, type ancient standing stones or something down there. And but it's all, doesn't look like anybody's using it or anything. But somebody's maintaining the figure at the very minimum. And then I'm going to tell them they can see there's a side road that leads to a village. And then at the main road they're on goes into the forest. And if they go across the grasslands and rolling hills and don't go to in the direction of the village, that'll still take them to forest or mountain. All right. That's what they can see. And of course, they can choose to turn around and go back the way they came. but they're going to have options about how to explore this map, which means I also have to make sure that all the encounters, the pre-planned encounters in here, make sense, because some of them don't make any sense. Anyway, and move things around. But then that also gets you to your party's motivations. Why are they on this road? I mean, when I was younger, it would just be like, hey, I got a cool adventure. And somebody else would be like, hey, I got a cool adventure. Let's play it, right? But the older you get, you want more of journeys and reasons for going places and things like that, besides, hey, I got a cool adventure that I bought. It looks cool. So in this case, you got to look at what your party's doing. And I came up with a list of things, just thinking about it, that why would somebody be on this road, and then knowing what's in the map that I know. Okay, they could be either looking to capture somebody, bounty hunters, or the law of the area looking for the outlaws that are in this adventure. And another guy who's hiding out and hopes nobody ever comes looking for him because he used to be a thief. Could be that. It could be that they are a patrol. It makes this big deal about civilization, but obviously the woods are a lot more wild, and the further you go in, you see evidence of civilization, but that civilization destroyed ruins. The forest is taken back over. You've got goblins, you've got monsters, you've got all this stuff going on in the woods. It's quite dangerous, I would like to point out, the wandering monster table. And there's no way that great old woods can be considered civilized and under the domain of civilization, other than on somebody's map where some king says or emperor says, we own this territory. So even though the village is well established, that village at this point is the last bit of kingdom civilization, really. And then after that, it gets really sketchy. So it could be that the party is actually, they're soldiers on patrol. It's autumn, though. Harvest time, good time for census, good time for collecting taxes. They could be escorting the tax collector. Every village looks forward to that. But they would be just kind of entering the situation. They have a reason to go to the village. Okay? Whereas the outlaws have the people looking for outlaws have a reason to go to the village to see if they're there and go to the woods, or just directly go to the woods. Maybe they already have a rumor that there's an outlaw community in the woods past the village. They have no reason to stop in the village whatsoever. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they don't have to. Maybe they're escorting somebody else, the party, either as soldiers or mercenaries for hire, who are escorting, say, some maidens who are going to go study with the druids, or children or something. And they already have a rough idea where the druids are, but they're going to get pulled into this whole thing. Maybe they're escorting a priest who wants to start a temple, because, a little church in the village, because there is none, because they're all a bunch of nature worshippers still in this area, and they haven't accepted the word of Tyr or somebody, whoever it is, right? And so you've got a missionary you're escorting. So you're going to go there and then find out all kinds of crazy stuff's happening. Maybe the people who supposedly caused the problem in the village, the gypsies, maybe they'd caused a problem somewhere else previously. Whatever, you don't know. And the party's been hired to locate the gypsies and do something, get money back, whatever it is. Maybe somebody in the party comes from that village. They're just going home. And maybe they're just lost. I mean, getting lost on the map is completely doable, and they found a road, and now they're on the road, and they don't know where the road goes. They haven't really seen anybody for weeks and weeks and weeks, but they've been on the road, and they know that at some point they're going to get to some kind of civilization. So they end up stumbling into this. But you know your party best, you know your players, you know your setting best. So if you're dropping this down, these are the things you think about. Like, why would they be going here? Would this be their ultimate destination? Yes, no. What puts them in the area for them to start to find stuff? And then depending on where they go on the map, they're going to get different clues to the problem. Now, in the module, the problem is blamed on the gypsies. And apparently the gypsies had something to do with it, and so on. However, honestly, it doesn't have to be the gypsies. You can totally change that. You can. They don't have to be the actual cause of the problem. Now, you should flesh stuff out. Things that this module doesn't have. There's no map of the village. It tells you to refer to the map. There's no map for the tavern that is in the village that the big scene happens in. They tell you to refer to that. And that also, the tavern's menu is on this same map, but it's not there. So these are examples of things that you'll have to create. I happen to have some resources. I'm going to use those resources, and I'll share those with you. I happen to have the 2 old village books by the Judges Guild. And so I'm going to use one of the villages out of there. I could also just make a village. I could get an old colonial map of some sort or some town's map and just reskin it. Super easy if you don't want to go to the trouble of making a village. And you just want some buildings down. Or I could just, like I said, scribble out some stuff. But I happen to have these old resources. I thought it would be fun to use them. So I'm going to take a village out of there and use that as the base of the village that is going to become the Downs in the Vale. So that's the first step you do, is you got to figure out how the party's getting and why they're getting to this area. Then you present them with choices. The choices are going to lead to different things. If they go to the chalk figure and to what looks like some structures, which are standing stones down there, they're going to see and get some clues there. If they go to the village, they're going to get clues there. If they're like, nope, we're on a mission to go through the woods, we got a map, then or to go to the woods to look for outlaws or whatever, then that's going to lead them in one direction. If they're completely lost and they're like, don't know what they want to do, but they pick a direction wherever it is, then that's what they're going to go encounter. So if they go off to the mountains where it's suddenly winter, I'll have to try to really understand what they were thinking with that one. And they find the Yeti first. Yes, there's a Yeti. That's the way it's going to roll. Now, also another thing is they could be like coming from another area, and they heard there's a bounty that's, you know, every scalp of a goblin or an orc or some creature that in here that they bring back, they get paid for. I mean, people do a lot of unpleasant things in the past to make money. Those should be options for players. Players are scoundrels. Maybe they're hunting. Maybe they're going to the old wood to hunt and bring back animal pelts or something. And they heard the druids had cleared out. So there's lots of ways to get them into the area, but then you let them decide how they're going to proceed. Because if they go to certain places, they're going to get different rumors, same rumors, run into different things along the way. But we'll get to that. Like, how do you make the rumor thing better than the story, better than what we were given? But first thing you do is you start giving them choices. So on a railroad, unless there's a reason, unless they're actually on a railroad train, there's no reason for this to be railroad like it is. But like I said, reading through it, there's like all these conflicting visions for the encounters that don't make sense unless literally different people wrote little parts and then they put it together or something. But if you step back and junk you have to go in this order, that order, this order, and instead start going in, give them options when they're on the ridge looking into the valley right away, it opens up the possibilities of them doing things in a different order. So that's the first suggestion I would make with N2. So join the N2 challenge. I've been joking. It's apparently a kind of challenge at this point on YouTube to, I don't know, get your hot little mitts on a cheap version of this and do terrible things to it. This could be made into a sci-fi thing. With all its flaws, you could take some elements of it. So, and that's the other thing. What system am I going to use? Because there's parts of this that feel basic when I'm reading through it. And then there's parts, including the name of the woods. I don't think that was in Greyhawk. And then there's parts of it that feel AD&D. So again, it's almost like we have like bits and pieces of things that they kind of threw together. So we'll work on this a little bit at a time. So think about what system, like if you were going to look at an old module adventure that needed a lot of work, you paid for, and you're like, I'm going to use this anyway, which I'm going to do. What system would you want to use? Let's start thinking about how you would convert it. So I want this to be kind of like more of a learning process. I'm probably going to use my 5e-ish Dark Shadow or Shadow Dark. I always call it Dark Shadow. Wait, it's because there was a TV show called Dark Shadow years ago. Shadow Dark. Some rules from older editions of D&D and some stuff from 5e, because that's what I do. But I will discuss why I'm doing what I'm doing when I get to those encounters. So right now, think about how you would change the adventure of N2 if you have it right from the beginning. I threw some stuff out. Now, the players I have that are doing Shadow Dark, they're in a little dungeon right now. When they get out, assuming they don't all die, they're going to be lost. So I can set them up right away for trying to find civilization and needing to find civilization. And so I can actually shorten the time that they've been on the road and all that. That's not, what the book says. So anyway, everybody have a great day and talk to you later.